So, Pappy, can you believe 2025 is almost coming to a close?
Didn't it just start?
It just
I,
flew by.
it's unbelievable. And here we are. We're recording this on December 11th.
Yeah,
You got
crazy.
3 more weeks, two and a half weeks left. Where did it go?
Absolutely. Well, a lot has happened over the past year. We've done a lot of episodes and some great guests. And so we're going to close out 2025, doing a little review of the past year and also letting you know of some cool things that are coming soon. So stay tuned. You're listening to DisasterClass Podcast by Instinct Ready Emergency Management. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of DisasterClass. I'm Jason Perez, and with me today is Jason Martin, a.k.a. Pappy.
Hello, everybody.
And Pappy, you know what the bell means.
Class is in session. Everybody sit down and pay attention.
Class is in session. So, 2025 almost coming to a close, almost 2026. Wow. Crazy.
It is.
It's hard to believe we've been doing the podcast now for 3 years.
It's been awesome.
It's going by quick, but it's been fun. It's been a fun ride, and we've got to talk to some really cool people along the way. So just a big shout out to you, our listeners, for supporting us over these past 3 years. Our audience keeps growing, and we appreciate everyone who's been supporting us and supporting this podcast. We do it for you, so we appreciate the support. We also thank our sponsors too for helping us to keep this content coming. So just a big thank you to everyone that supported us over the past year.
Yep. Without them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have a reason to be here.
That's right. So I was looking over our past. Just all the episodes that we've done over the past year. So we've had some fun ones, and we really want to hear your thoughts, our listeners, as far as what was your favorite episode? Did you have a favorite episode? What did you like about it? Please leave us a comment and tell us what was your favorite and maybe some highlights, what you appreciated. Maybe there were some new thoughts or whatever you learned. We really want to hear from you.
Yeah. And also too, what do they want to hear more of?
Yes. Because again, we're doing it for you. So if you let us know what you like, then we can make sure that we're doing more of that.
Yes.
So Pappy, did you have a favorite episode from the past year?
We started out the year and a lot was going on.
Yeah.
And we had the roundtable discussion with Wesley and Anthony and the two of us, and we talked about the wildfires in LA.
Yes. So that would have been the Palisades Eaton fires at the time. Yeah.
That was a huge event, obviously. And to just sit back and talk about it as it was going, because we recorded that podcast while those fires were still burning. So it was and it was eye-opening to see what had taken place, but just to get the perspectives from all four of us, and because we all come from different avenues of emergency management, and to get those perspectives and share that with our listeners. I really enjoyed doing that. That was a nice roundtable.
Yeah, that was a fun episode to do. I mean, obviously it's a bad situation, but it was definitely different in being able to look at an event as it's unfolding. And of course, our hearts, our thoughts and prayers with those families that experienced those tragedies. And we know recovery is still ongoing in those neighborhoods that were affected,
and will be for years.
Yeah. So, but we want to know too, for you, our listeners, right? Did you enjoy having some live events, a live breakdown of things going on? Some of the lessons that we can learn. If you like that format, we're going to try to do more of that. Unfortunately, we don't see any of these events slowing down anytime soon. So there's always things to cover. But if you'd like that, leave us a comment, and we're going to try to do more of that.
Jason, what's the most important thing in an emergency?
Coffee?
Close. Clean water, sir.
Yes, and that's why we trust Sawyer water filters. They're tiny, tough, and they remove 99.9999% of bacteria.
Plus, one filter can filter out over 100,000 gallons of water. So that's even apocalypse level clean.
And it's used by hikers, responders, and people tired of boiling puddle water.
So whether it's camping or a blackout, Sawyer's got you covered.
Find yours at Sawyer.com or find a retailer near you.
Sawyer, because boiling puddle water, not a skill worth bragging about.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes too was shortly after that one when we got to talk with Mariah Washington from NYC.
Oh, man, she was awesome.
Absolutely, she was just a wealth of knowledge and just an awesome human being trying to do some really cool stuff. Specifically talking about community engagement and how the New York City Emergency Management team tries to connect with community members, how they try to build that preparedness and resilience level from the ground up, and some of the cool programs that they were doing. So if you missed that episode, definitely go back and check that out, because there were some cool tidbits in there.
Yeah. And her enthusiasm, her joy, and you could tell that she really enjoys what she's doing. And when you get to work with somebody like that who's trying to help the community, it makes it even it's so much stronger and more meaningful. And I just loved her enthusiasm. It was just overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another fun episode, especially talking about roundtable discussions. And then we had that episode with talking about AI.
Oh, yeah.
And had that round table discussion where we had also Melvin Bland join us, and we put ChatGPT to the test and seeing what it could do as far as disaster readiness goes. That was pretty fun. That was pretty cool.
It was.
What did you think about that, Pappy, and using some of those tools?
You know, because in that episode, we used my physical location, my address for our guinea pig episode, our tryouts. And so to see what ChatGPT shared, I think we were all impressed by the depth of what it had. And because, you know, we talked about the hazards and the risks for this area and how we can prepare, I was really impressed, and I found it very beneficial. And it was interesting to see the different resources that it pulled in, but also some of the things, because I've done a fair bit of looking for my use,
Right.
but to see what it came up with that I hadn't. So I really appreciate it. That was a really informative, and I've shared that tool with others since then. You know, I've been included in a couple of other training classes and boot camps to where I've shared that with the class, and they're like, "Wow, this is cool."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I definitely, you know, AI does have obviously limitations and what it can do, and ever since then I've been playing around with it a lot, and there are some things that are just kind of, sometimes it's just complete frustration where you're trying to get it to do something and it's not cooperating. But so it's definitely got its limitations, but at the same time, it can be a real useful tool, and I suspect that it's going to be woven more and more into emergency management, into the preparedness field, response for sure. You know, to be able to assist some of our responders and planners and all the things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is. And it's a tool, like any tool that you have. I work on cars a lot, so my garage is full of automotive tools, and work around the house. So I've got a fair bit. So like any tool, if you put it to use the way it's designed, it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
But like any tool that's misused or not handled properly, it can be a detriment. So AI in its place is a huge asset.
Absolutely. It's you know, we're currently experimenting with some of its capabilities, and we've been designing some tools at Instinct Ready to assist emergency managers. And it's been pretty cool what we've been able to do leveraging technology,
Yeah.
not as a replacement, but as more of an assistant, right? I was playing around with it with one job I was working on, and I was doing a security assessment for a facility. And what was pretty cool is I had some pictures of the facility, and I uploaded it into AI, and I asked it basically what security concerns do you see based off of this picture, and it was amazing the things that it was able to pick out and identify just based off of a picture, some legitimate security concerns. So it was pretty cool, especially because you know it's important to understand how these things work because, like you said, Pappy, it's got a lot of useful
Yeah, it does.
benefits, but it can also be misused. And so knowing how these tools work, because while we might be able to use it for good, others can use it for bad.
Yep.
And identifying flaws and ways to try to get around certain plans and procedures and security guards. So definitely it's something that's going to be being talked about more and more as time goes on, for sure.
Yep. And I'm on LinkedIn quite a bit, and I see a lot of conversations, a lot of debate going back and forth about the use of AI in emergency management and emergency preparedness. And that's one of the things that it highlights is it can be very beneficial. But if for those that want to abuse it, there's definitely that opportunity.
Absolutely. Did you have any other episodes that you enjoyed over the past year?
So one of my favorites was the episodes we had with Arthur and Disaster Wargaming. I was looking forward to that game showing up to my house. I'd ordered it. It showed up. We talked with Arthur and his knowledge. I mean, just you could sit and listen to him for a long time because he's got such a wealth of knowledge, and it was just impressive to me. But I really enjoyed it. And that game, they've come out with two new ones since then. They're working on more. And that was just our first episode with Arthur. So I
Right.
really enjoyed getting to know his background and what made him come up with these games. And that was a really, really fun conversation with Arthur.
Yeah. I think we had 3 episodes with Arthur over the past season. So
Yeah.
that was, he's definitely a wealth of knowledge for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking forward to seeing what other stuff he comes up with, because the games that he's created are just amazing.
Yeah. And just to jump ahead, he had the last episode we had Todd Mann on with him, and the game that they built together with this fictitious county that Todd uses for his for work, and how they developed a game revolving around that. So that was exciting too.
Absolutely. The other couple of episodes that I liked was when we had Rachel Gauthier and Steve Hawks from IBHS join us, and that was I think we did like 3 episodes with the folks there at IBHS, and really cool to see the science and the research going on to how we can, using that science and research, build more resilient homes and build better building practices using smart materials and all these things to be able to help make homes more resilient to natural disasters. So Rachel talked about hurricanes and how we can strengthen our homes, mitigate hurricane damage. And so some of the incredible research that they're doing over there with that where they can build those life-size structures and hit it with wind and hail, and the wildfire research they're doing too. So those were some really cool episodes. If you missed that, definitely go back and try to watch the YouTube versions of it too, because we were able to also include some of the behind the scenes. They provided us with all this footage of the wind chamber, and actually seeing some of those live demonstrations was pretty incredible.
Pretty impressive. I didn't have the privilege to be on that podcast with you and Wesley and them, but watching it, I was thoroughly impressed with that facility that they had for the test. It's huge. So they are, like you mentioned, able to build the to scale actual a home a 3-4 bedroom home, and in its complexity, and even some landscaping around it to simulate what would happen in wildfires and such. So it's not just a bunch of science techs looking at models on computers.
Right.
This is real life testing and experimenting to see what really works in the real world. So you can take a better appreciation for those results when it's an actual test, not
Yep.
just a computer model, which are beneficial. I'm not
Right.
dissing those at all. But when it's the real deal, you get a lot more out of it.
Absolutely. And I really enjoyed some of the footage they provided of the side by side demonstrations where you
Yep.
had, traditional building practices and then using their fortified standard, and you can see the side by side real time on how some of these things work and how well they're holding up to some of the wind and the rain
Yeah.
and all that. It was incredible.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. A couple of them I watched 2 or 3 times just because I enjoyed it so much in the research.
Yeah. So we covered a lot over the past year. So much we didn't talk about. Our past couple episodes with Chris Grollnek was awesome too, and hearing some of his insight
wealth of
as that expert on active shooter preparedness and his active shooter prevention project. So we got to really talk to some awesome people over the past year, and we're looking forward to seeing who shows up in next year as we move into our next season on DisasterClass. But right now we're recording this. It's December 11th as we're talking now. We've here in the Midwest we had some we've had a lot of winter weather over the past week or two. It's been cold here. I know it's been cold over by you too, Pappy.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be nice to talk about some winter weather preparedness and some nice reminders just to make sure that we're being safe during this winter season. So what do you got for us, Pappy?
So yeah, it's everybody's traveling this time of year, go seeing family and whatever. There's a lot of time off. So we've got to be careful. Just like you said, the cold weather. Where I'm at this weekend, we're going to experience forecasted minus temperatures.
Yeah.
And we know that, up in the Great Lake regions, they've already had some this year. So thinking about that, how to protect ourselves and our animals, our pets in the winter. If we're traveling, make sure that, we've got our cars prepared for it, having the coolant in there. And recently in our area, they've had some major shutdowns of the interstate to where the cars are sitting there for hours upon end because of accidents or weather. And that's happened throughout the country. So making sure that you've got what you need in your vehicle, extra blankets, full tank of fuel, those things, so that if you are stuck there for an extended period of time. But we think about right now in the Northwest, they're experiencing extensive rain, atmospheric river. A lot of towns up in the mountains, up in the Cascades, are without power right now. This is a bad time of year to be without power.
Right.
So if you're thinking about how to heat your house, excuse me, without power, and you're using a generator, make sure that you're not running it in your house. You don't want those fumes in your house. Keeping your refrigerators and your freezers closed so that you can keep the food as good as long as you can. Disconnecting appliances to avoid damage when the power does come back on, so there's no surges and electrical fires in your home. Those kind of things. And make sure that your you got food on hand, you've got what you need, so that in that event you're taken care of and you're protected. And when you're outside, if it's super cold, make sure that you're well protected. You're from your head down to your toes, because frostbite is real. And it doesn't take very long. We had winds yesterday or day before 50 mile an hour gust. It wasn't cold, but had it been cold, that makes it a lot worse. So if you're outside, then that wind is going to really chap your skin and cause that frostbite. So make sure you're covered. Make sure you're warm enough. Don't spend a lot of time outside so that you're not risking uh, your life to that. And your pets too. Don't let them sit outside. Go to work for the day and you leave Fido outside and let them sit there and freeze. Make sure that your animals are inside.
Yeah.
Keep them warm. Let them go out, take care of their business, but make sure they're back inside in a timely. And I'm not one to put a sweater or booties on my dog, but if you're going to be out there for a while, make sure that your animals are covered up too, because some of them are just are their genetics allow for colder weather, but not all of them. So make sure your animals are taken care of.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. And especially thinking about, pets, but also, vulnerable populations too, elderly ones, children, making sure that they're taken care of as well.
If you've got older neighbors, check in on them. If you haven't seen or heard from them in a few days and then the weather's been pretty rough, check up on them. Go knock on their door. If you've got their phone number, call them. And if you need to, call the non-emergency number to the local police department and they'll go do a welfare check. Don't just ask somebody else to take care of it. Don't have that mindset. Don't be that person.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned too, traveling, that's, oftentimes we're fairly well prepared at home, and at least we have some supplies and things on hand, but, winter travel, especially if you're in a car, can get ugly real quick. And I remember, I think it was last year, a couple of years ago, we talked about that, the I-95, blizzard and all those cars and motorists that were just stranded for a long time on the roadway. And so having, like you said, some supplies, maybe some space blankets or regular blankets, extra maybe clothing and stuff to keep warm, ways that you can battery packs, make sure that your cell phone and stuff is charged and you got enough fuel in your car, because if you get stranded out there, it can get ugly pretty quick. Yeah.
Just a few winters ago, we had it froze the interstate just about 20 miles west of me. And I had to go through that early in the morning. And I think for 30 miles, there were cars that had been sitting on the interstate overnight. I can't tell you how many accidents there were. So even the tow trucks, I mean, these are the big wreckers for the semis, and they couldn't get through to the wrecks to clear it because there was so much traffic on the road.
Yeah.
They couldn't get to a hotel. They couldn't get off the road. It was a solid sheet of ice. So for, 15, 20 hours, they're on that road, and it was cold. It was like 10 degrees or colder overnight. So if they weren't prepared, that could have cost lives. So make sure before you leave, check the weather, where you're going, especially if you're driving. Make sure that your car is well prepared and stocked.
Yeah. Good reminders, especially, like you said, a lot of people traveling this time of year, and we've got some cold weather that's been hitting the regions, so it's definitely some good tips. So, that was good. Another year. I'm looking forward to next year, especially because we've got some big things.
Oh, I like
in
secrets.
The works. Big things. And we'll give you a little teaser. We're not going to go into too much detail because we're not ready yet. We're not quite there yet.
Can't let the cat out of the bag yet.
Yeah. But one thing that we've been getting asked about quite a bit is our classes, our training. And, you all might be familiar with our community emergency planning class that we've had for quite some time now. It's been a big hit. A lot of people love it. We are excited to let you know that big update is coming soon. Community emergency planning is going to be taken to a whole new level, and we're really excited to be bringing that to you soon. And very soon, we're going to be having some podcast episodes letting you know about that new program, what it consists of, and more importantly, how you can take a class. And not only that, but we're building it in a way where it can now be hosted in your own community as well. So we're really excited to get that underway, and it's gonna be coming soon. So stay tuned.
We're looking forward to that. Everybody here at Instinct Ready DisasterClass, we are so excited for all these changes. And like you mentioned, Jason, it's CEP was good, but this is going to be phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to teach it again. This is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. And we've also, we've teamed up with Disaster Operations Group. You might remember our good friend, Anthony Escoto. He's been helping us out. We've been teaming up with him and Disaster Operations Group as well, building this new program. So it's going to take on a whole new level of fun and excitement. So it's going to be good.
So let us know what you think about all these changes. Let us know what you thought about the year of DisasterClass, and what was your favorite episode. Go back and rewatch them. A lot of good information, a lot of good interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Pappy mentioned, right, we really thrive and we want to hear your feedback, especially, and it helps us to know which directions to go in and what type of content you want to see. So please send us an email or drop us a message, and we'd be happy to get in touch with you, to correspond and hear what you have to say. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of DisasterClass and all the support you've given us over the past 3 years. Stay educated,
stay prepared,
and stay equipped.
Class is dismissed. Everybody go hit the playground.